The Bolo V&R on the 2.0 platform. And this is part 2 of the reaction of the Integrity Commission in that came to Parliament. So please I ask that you if you appreciate the content, if you appreciate the efforts of me and this platform, the free way to support is to like and share the video immediately, right off the rip, coming straight through the gate. If you want to go above and beyond, which is not mandatory, meaning you don't have to, because I not beg nobody nothing, but if you want to donate to the platform monetarily, the option is the PayPal link. It is the anonymous link and it is pinned in the comment section. It is also on the links of the platform. When you open up my page, there's several links and the donation links are there as well. Alright, man, so without any further ado, let's get into it. Oh Lord, I contend that, what's his name? Colonel Charles Julia truly embarrassed himself. I can't put it any other way. He exposed himself yesterday, and it seems as if, ladies and gentlemen, from the beginning of this one, that he did not hold back in continuing to do so. Alright, so he has made himself the main focus of this reaction, cause him run out. You feel what I say? So let's get it.
Reached. There's no question about certification. So these are points that we have to look at down the road, and definitely is part of the consideration that the JC is seized with as we move forward. But in all fairness, you know, we cannot continue. Yes, right. So please, it's now, as we say, 12:51. Yes. And I want to make the point that I'm fully seized of how important this particular meeting is, and particularly that this is a historic meeting. It's the first time we're having the full commission before us, and it's only that we're going to have more of this. And I would sincerely hope that, you know, we can, after this meeting, structure another to continue perhaps elements of this discussion that are left undealt with. So I will continue, but bear in mind, Parliament must be ready for preparation at 1 o'clock. There's absolutely no getting away from it, because we begin at 2 in the next session. So Member Charles, kindly wrap up, and then we have quickly from Member Malahoo Ford, and then
it is telling what has been said around this provision. In my reading, I recall about strategic ambiguity, where persons can see something that is clear as unclear in order to foster debate, or what some call selective interpretation, where a clear statement or law can be seen as unclear if it doesn't align with the objective you seek. Now, I want to draw a distinction between one's aspiration and the reality. The law as it is now is a reality. What you want the law to be is an aspiration. And what I'm asking about is not your desire or aspiration. It is the reality of what is as it is right now. Now, the country, as said, is listening. And we have spoken about a number of things. The reference, Chairman, to Section 53 as a law that is unclear must be probed further. I would like to understand what word, what part, what element of that is unclear. And let me read it so that the country can hear it. Section 53.3. Until the tabling in Parliament of a report under Section 36, all matters under investigation by the Director of Investigation or any other person involved in such investigation shall be kept confidential, and no NO report or public statement shall be made by the Commission or any other person in relation to the initiation or conduct of an investigation under this act. I would like to understand two things. What part of that they don't understand? What's unclear? And secondly, when I first raised it, the response from the executive director was to reiterate, it says any other person. So this member, who he says is hanging his hat on the...
You say itching and dipping in your audio. There, can you still hear it now? Because there is a beat playing in the background, you know. Maybe that's the beat you're hearing. Sharon, so confirm to me if that's the beat you're hearing. You understand? Please let me know quickly. Let me know quickly. Hey. Are you still hearing it? You still hearing it? Sharon, talk to me, guys. Talk to me. You say you hear a crackling. Are you still hearing the crackling? Because it's we are here. If I that you hear the beat, that's the beat. That's the actual beat. That's the music. So it's not YouTube. Alright? Just to be clear. I just want to make sure that we are clear. Are we clear? We're good? We're not seeing an unsign of what I'm going to move on.
The words, any other person. I hang my hat there, sir, because you gave me those words to hang my hat on. You are the one that pulled it out of the section when I spoke of it. You are the one that highlighted it. You are the one that...
Well, I don't know. I don't know if YouTube is doing something, but thank God I'm recording my video on my computer. So I'm going to upload it clear as day, even if they're doing something. That's why I always record my stuff. That's why I have hard drives. You understand? Yeah. Sorry about that.
Asked me to use that as a form of interpretation. How come you now changing what you're saying? I don't understand. And you see, Chairman, it may come off as combative, but that's not my intention. I see clarity. We cannot have a situation where a member of this committee asks a question and it's basically thrown back at me. And the comment is, you are the parliamentarian, you are the legislator.
Hey.
If you make a mistake in the law, for your problem.
In vex?
Well, I'm going to tell you what the big problem is. The big problem is if you have an executive director who is interpreting his aspirations and not understanding his reality. And that is what I am probing. Because if that is the case, we have a serious problem.
I will leave it to the judge.
I think we have been talking about this issue for a long time, and I think it's a very simple matter. And it was addressed by Member Falwell. When we look at interpretation of statutes, we have to make sense of them. Is it being suggested that if I am a declarant and I have been cleared, I cannot say that I have been cleared? As Member Falwell said, the whole purpose, and when we look at this section, it is my view that the purpose of this section is to protect the person who is being investigated. Nobody can say anything about him. But I cannot see whether the person has been cleared or the investigation is discontinued.
Hey, me don't know what go on still in the Aldiano. I don't know what go on still in, but if you notice the inconsistency, me go live the same time yesterday, you know. And me have 300 plus people in our chat. You see today? Come like the people them not getting no notification, bro. No notification. But you see, we are pressed on same way. Because we expect a fight. Because Pastor Peter Chambers don't tell me already. You understand what I say? But them can't go, them only are gonna make the channel greater. Them only are gonna make the support we get from the people them even greater. So the powers that be that allegedly might be doing something to try and stop this platform for whatever reason. You're fighting a losing battle. I can't tell you that right now. You're fighting a losing battle. Me not even pay no mind, cause everything that's happening, even though with the fight, man, I feel blessed. Bro, I feel blessed. I feel blessed. But what the elder is saying is what I was saying in my first reaction. I don't really see the provision as something. It is to protect the declarant. So if the declarant wants to state that, not necessarily that he's under investigation for illicit enrichment, but that he is under investigation, if asked the question, I don't see how he can be locked up for answering that question. Yes, I'm under investigation. And they are the ones that made the law, and now he wants clarity from the Integrity Commission of the law when they're the ones that made it. You see, it don't make sense. He's just exposing himself. He wants them to say something that is his own interpretation. And as a wise legislator, he just read what the thing says. He's not gonna give you say that is what it means. You understand what I say? So him get yeah, only if a person will tell the truth get demonized, true. Him just expose himself.
Continued, and I have my declaration certified. It would be nonsensical in my view to have such a conclusion.
You see, like I said, it is nonsensical in his view to have a conclusion. It is the music in the background making the itching. Them don't know, man. It have a go. Yeah, it is the music. Me know say the music. Me know say the music.
No, we're not
Chairman,
going to.
Chairman.
We're not going to.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, Chairman.
You see, for $1, you can get started with my Over 40 Alpha program. In that program, I'm going to...
This session is intended to bring some clarity on a number of matters. And certainly from the Oversight Committee's perspective, mine as a member, we're seeking to get a better understanding of the approach taken by the Commission in discharging its functions and exercising its powers under the Act. I believe that Mr. Christie is right. The law is passed by Parliament.
Mhm.
And if there are errors to be corrected, the correction is to be done by the Parliament. But Member Charles is also right, because he is
Okay.
seeking an understanding of how the Executive Director interprets provisions of the law. Unless and until a provision is changed, it is a provision that has to be implemented and enforced. And you can only get an understanding of the approach if you understand how the provision is interpreted. And fortunately for us who are lawyers, we know that there are rules of statutory interpretation, starting with the very basic rule. You take the words in their ordinary grammatical context. I mean, the literal meaning of the word, ordinary grammatical meaning in context. A statute has to be read as a whole to prevent any inconsistency. So I don't think that it is unhelpful for the Executive Director to remind that there are problems in the legislation. Parliament has the power to correct. And fortunately, the legislation is under review. I don't think it is unreasonable for the member to ask, how do you interpret a provision, even in the presence of inconsistencies, to enable me to understand the approach that is taken? And it is only by asking and answering that we gain clarity in the matter. I do not believe that all of the issues that require answers will be answered in this session. I do not believe that all the matters that require clarification or that need to be addressed to ensure that we have an effective system in place will be addressed in this session. So I too look forward to other sessions. In the meantime, I really just want to ask the Commission to consider a matter that has to do with the burden of compliance. A number of declarants, many of which are not in the parliamentarian class, have spoken to me because of my role as the Minister of Legal Affairs in respect of the burden of compliance with the legislation. And it is my understanding that where there are omissions in a statutory declaration, the Commission asks the declarant to resubmit the entire statutory declaration. I don't know if that is correct. Is that so? That the entire declaration for the period has to be resubmitted? Just a yes or no. I'm happy to hear that. I'm
No.
I'm so happy to hear that, because I would then suggest that an omission can really be corrected by way of an addendum to the declaration for the particular year to reduce the burden of compliance and to ensure that compliance is done in a timely way. So I'm very happy to hear. So those who have omissions in their statutory declaration can, on communication with the Commission, make the corrections by way of addendum as appropriate. As appropriate.
But could you repeat, please? Thank you.
I understand that each declarant's matter will be subject to the particular assessment that is done between the Commission or the respective director or wherever it is being assessed. But as a general rule, it is my understanding that omissions can be corrected by way of addendum, additional information, without the need to resubmit the entire statutory declaration for the period under consideration.
All right, thank you very much. As it concerns the issue of omissions, it's not as straightforward as you,
realize
have
that.
put it. Committee, because
What?
it all depends on frequency. You have persons who each year.
Why should I make the man answer? You see what the issue? Right here, so hold on the class prefix. You see what the issue right here, so to me? To me, their questions are surrounding the main man, Andrew Lawless. So, I feel like say, this is just my opinion. We feel like say the question when them ask them, have it tie them up into a situation in the court case with Andrew Lawless. So they want certain specific answers to certain things. But it's not that simple. It's not that simple. Class prefect said, Bolo, the thing is JLP don't really understand the IC law because it is the baby of Mark Golding. Just PMP lost in 2016 before it was passed. The JLP is not knowing it would have them by the balls. Hey, you're absolutely right in a class prefect, you know what I'm saying?
They have omissions. We're not going to ask them.
Let me hear what the brother say again. Listen to the Ryan Campbell Wagwan, bro.
All right, thank you very much. As it concerns the issue of omissions, it's not as straightforward as you,
realize
have
that.
put it. Committee, because it all depends on frequency. You have persons who each year they have omissions. We're not going to ask them to resubmit. We may put it to the Commission.
No,
that those matters be escalated.
I'm not talking
However,
about complex matters. I'm really
yes,
talking about
a
the
straightforward,
simplest,
simple.
straightforward omissions.
Yes.
That the omissions may run more than 1 year, of course, but they are straightforward matters.
Yes, indeed.
Very well.
Yes, they can. I will have to double check though on one particular matter, because remember, you're required to sign in front of a JP to attest to the signature.
I mean, the additional matter would have to be certified.
Correct,
Right.
correct. So it would have to be certified also using the similar language. So yes, it's something that can be done once we can get the JP signing off. But most persons will opt, based on our examination so far, to submit the entire thing, because I can tell you, based on our examination, there are a lot of omissions right across the declaration.
Right.
So it makes sense most times for them to get it completed and resubmit. But for simple one-pager, it has happened in the past and it's allowed.
Chairman, my last comment. When we communicate,
Each member will be allowed one last comment. Because we will have other sessions. We have to have other sessions.
I
There are a
will,
number
I
of
will
matters
yield to
here
those who have
that
not
I
asked for
have,
their
which we
question.
have not been able to raise as yet, which relates to the actual performance and some of the issues, particularly your EDS program for the declaration. That's very important, the electronic declaration arrangement, and a number of other such matters operationally that we want to raise with you and have clarification on. So we will have to ask you to come back. But we are constrained. The clerk of the house is here on that side looking at.
Okay, Chairman.
So
Okay, Chairman, perhaps I can go ahead. And I suspect, and I don't think we should be encouraging commissioners to come to Parliament to be questioned by us. I fundamentally disagree with that, but let me go into the question that I want to put. And it's going back to what I believe our role is. I want to go back to public education, because prevention is better than cure. And having been subjected to some of the lectures by the commission, I want to recommend, Chairman, from this committee, that all civil servants who are within the framework of the law, that they be mandated. Now, that is what we can mandate. Some education by the Commission. And in that regard, to recommend that the Commission revisit its staffing for public education and that we will approve any such budget that comes to us for the expansion of that staffing. Secondly, again, I believe a role that can be played is to guide us in some of the things that we've been criticized over. So I would like to know, as a member of parliament, what are some of those conflict of interest that we need to be wary of? What are some of those functions that you perform in your private avocation that might run afoul of the law? And certainly, when we become government, what can a cabinet minister do and otherwise? I think those are important functions.
Yo, that is an excellent question. I can't wait for you to answer to this.
That, of course, well, prime ministers are being questioned about what they do now, much less me. And thirdly, I would like to know, Chairman, in your very first paragraph, you raised an ethics issue. I'd just like to know if you have received a response from the speakers yet.
I could have mentioned it at the beginning, that I didn't really want to. No, the speaker has not even acknowledged receipt of the letter. And regrettably, there are some patterns of behavior that trickle down, it seems, because I've written twice to the financial secretary, who has not even acknowledged the letter either, on either occasion. So I don't know if it is a pattern not to respond to me or the commission.
I rather think not, Chairman. Okay. I happen to know of one of the circumstances, and I think that you will be responded to, I'm sure, in due course. A little patience sometimes works, Chairman.
Oh, I have learned in life.
But
hey, I say the director of the Integrity Commission, the man a beat and teach him, you know? You hear the man say? The speaker of the house, he doesn't know if it's a pattern. A Juliet Wallace, man, put up our picture. Kid. Juliet Wallace get radam. Juliet Wallace get called to the carpet. Hey, what a bangarang. Juliet. Miss Juliet, why you not answer allegedly? Why you not answer the man letter them? I what go on? Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. What go on?
But
To be patient. Once you went to overseas, you will learn patience.
Okay. To the point, however.
No, you know what? So me like it, Pastor. Me like yo, big up that brother. Yeah, man, me like that brother. And say, I don't know if it's a pattern. I don't know if it's a pattern or nothing about, you know. So I go on.
Remember Paulwell's comment with regards to the presence of the commissioners. I think that it is important requirement that we meet and exchange ideas from time to time. And it is important for the commissioners to be seized with what are the concerns of the Oversight Committee from time to time. And I think that we were able to have a very useful and valuable discussion at another place.
There's one question.
Emphasize the importance of our meeting from time
Chairman,
to time.
there's just one thing that I should tell you, that as chairman of the commission, I have been wondering whether the reports are actually being read.
No, the reports are being read. Well, we're doing better than that.
A healthy business starts with happy employees. As an HR leader, you need to know how they really feel. How do you do that? You ask them for their feedback. Dare to ask.
The whole idea is that we're trying to build more capacity for the committee to be able to respond better to
employees. As an HR leader, you need to know how they really feel. How do you do that? You ask them for their feedback. Dare to ask the questions that matter at surveymonkey.com/employee-love.
223, and all that information is fine. The whole idea is that we're trying to build more capacity for the committee to be able to respond better to the reports that you're sending and to be able to work with you to enable the compliance that we're about. And this is why the element of Member Paulwell's comments that I find favorable is the whole business of escalating the support for declarants to be able to comply timely and appropriately. And I think that one of the big responsibilities to enable compliance is for us to establish a department, perhaps even, that offers support, because several of the declarants are ignorant of most of the accounting principles and so on, which guide how this very voluminous document called the declaration form are structured. And several sometimes are in trepidation trying to fill it out, especially because of the legal implication of each page having to be signed by you and notarized. So it's a legal document. And so and a number of persons have come into public life, you know, with limited knowledge of these things and guided by, and it does, because there's no glory in prosecution. There's glory in compliance.
We would be
and
happy
able to
if
report that we have 100% compliance. Right?
we would be happy if the law made the declaration form just two pages.
My final comment, Chairman. Even as I look forward to further engagements, I'm coming away from this meeting reinforcing the view that I had when this act was presented to the Parliament. Those who would recall, I expressed the view that the law needed to be completely rewritten, that the model needed to be rethought, and I am of that solid view that the law needs to be completely rewritten and that the model needs to be rethought. And that is what I'm going to take away from this meeting with a recommendation for implementation. So between yourself and the member to my right, who have to my left with responsibility, please take note. The work needs to be accelerated.
20 years' time.
We take note of that final comment. Member Charles, I see.
20 years time.
Thank you, Chair.
Wait,
Perhaps
so hold on. At 20
My
years time before you can rewrite? Backside. She not go there. She not go in politics again. I'm sure. All of them supposed to out, and couple of them supposed to be at prison. Some of them might have tried run away. God I go judge some of them. You know? Who knows? All type of 20 year. Mighty God.
what I take away, it doesn't accord with what I take away is that we need to be clear on the difference between recommendations and reality. That's my taking. I have read the recommendations that have been proposed by the IC, some of which I think are prudent, some of which I don't agree with. But we will have an opportunity, I hope, to go through that. But the nation needs to understand that we are now governed by the law as it is. And that should be the subject of our operation. You know, in the opening remarks, and I go back to Chairman Panton. And I
this dude, man.
He is someone who, as a law student,
This dude, bro. He is salty. Yo, you know when you throw your corner, you never corner fall. He is salty. He is salty.
You have no choice but to look up to. As a young attorney, we're not young anymore, in it, 20 years now. He is someone that you see as judicious, a man of God. And he made reference to some of us perhaps visiting him on Sunday. I go to church on Saturday, but I have no hesitation in still joining the chair. But you know, as we close, it is our Almighty that said to us and reminded us that simply calling him Lord and acknowledging him won't be enough to secure a place in heaven. What truly matters is doing the will of God and living that life aligned to his teaching and values. Not everything that is said and done will accord because it is said and done. Chairman, these are serious matters. I want to thank the commissioners, Justice Hibbert, great respect, and others for coming before us, Mr. Crawford, Mr. Powell, and the members. And I want to assure them and hope that they leave understanding that my probing is not meant in any disrespect. It is meant for me to carry out my function.
Hey, it's my birthday.
No bullshit, bro.
Continue to have probing discussions so that the country that we serve will benefit. The last thing I'll say, Chairman, is that it is troubling to me, the response to the questions around particular clauses in this legislation. It's troubling because basic interpretation follows rules and principles of law. We have an Interpretation Act, and we have different ways to interpret literally, etc. going down, as has been said as also by Member Malabu Ford. Either the inability or the decision not to see that clearly causes me a lot of concern. And I do think that we will have to have some discussions further around what is now the current reality and how we're treating this reality before we even speak about what recommendations and aspirations should be. Thank you, Chairman.
Here's the big secret about women. We want you to flirt with us. We even want you to get.
Thank you, member. We have two final brief comments, and then we'll just ask for the chairman to do his summation on this side, and then we break. Member Robinson and Member Chuck.
Thank you, Chairman.
I don't really want to stop it every minute, you know. Class prefect, I was going to say that exact same thing when you point out. Him man having nerve. Fear school he passed about the Bible. When he must support a man, we have 28 account. When he must stand behind a man, we have so much red flag of possible, alleged money laundering, alleged tax invasion, all of these things, big old red flag. And him come to brother, yo, I'm glad same done.
Final question is probably more directed to the chairman. There is a recommendation specific to the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. I don't know if it is still named so, on a particular investigative report. And I'm just going to read what the recommendation says. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries to discontinue with immediate effect the current discriminatory process used to applicants on the basis of prior importation history. The ministry to develop a formal policy that will ensure transparency and accountability in the receipt and processing of applications, as well as the merit and integrity in the issuance of permits and licenses for the importation of all animal products. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, and by extension the government of Jamaica, to develop the necessary administrative structures that will facilitate an equitable process for all applicants who apply for permits for the importation of chicken products. This was from the summary presented to us, and I would just ask the chairman if you can follow up to find out whether these recommendations have been implemented by the ministry. And by chairman, as the chairman of this committee, I believe you would be the appropriately placed to do so.
Committee chairman.
You. Wait.
No, you are giving Member Chuck an opportunity
To speak, yes. And then I respond.
No, a few things. First of all, I want to thank the commissioners and his team for being here, and I hope that in another 2 or 3 weeks' time they can return, because I have an opportunity to explore a number of points which I certainly would like to raise. Certainly, I want to know, when hopefully you all return, what is the basis or the relevance of asking members of parliament who were elected in 2020 about matters 20, 30 years before, decades before, including, for instance, the purchased car in the 90s or a couple of decades before.
Who purchased car in the 90s? Who purchased car in the 90s? I found my own speaker about that. He brought the one in the glasses. Whoa! Yo! Hey! I asked
funny, honey.
I don't know. But that she come to my mind a while ago.
Oh my God, that is funny.
Hey, class prefect, wisdom warriors, deep divers. I know say all I want to support me, you know, from all of these different areas, you know. Andre Stevenson students, no indicate me who him a talk about. From in the 90s.
Where did they get the money to purchase the vehicle? What is the source of the fund? And there are several similar matters like that.
Oh, so you are one of them we don't want to declare your assets them too. Because the vehicle they purchased in the 90s, you're not supposed to have a receipt to tell you how you buy a vehicle. So you can just have $1 trillion building. But because you did purchase it 20 years ago, you're not supposed to declare your assets them and tell you how you get the money. So time passed, that means you don't have to declare it. Oh, I saw you pray. You want that? You know what? Let me continue.
They were elected in 2020. Is there no statute of limitation as to where they stop? And then to ask the member for their employment history from the first employment to know. If that is asked of me, I would be going back 60 odd years, when I work in the, picking up trolleys in a supermarket and getting so much profit. These are questions asking members for their employment history. which is 60 odd years in my case, not just me, but similar persons along that line. And finally, the chairman of the Integrity Commission speak about no leakage from the Integrity Commission. But a member, and this oversight committee, not you, was on the platform in August of this year, speaking about reports that will come to Parliament that will be so dramatic.
Yo, this a man still a spread, this a liar, brother. The man is still a, watch him face. Oh, him look so. Oh, watch out. Me I go screenshot this. I want him. Look at China, man. I want him. Watch out. Oh, him face look so. Hold on there. I want him. I want him name. Delroy Chuck. I want him name. I am named Delroy Chuck. Oh, your face looks so dark. I am named Delroy Chuck. I'm not Orange Chuck. Orange Chuck this. I want this one here. I want him name again. Oh, him look so. My general. Oh, your face look. Now screenshot this. You don't look good, bro. You look stressed, bro. You look vexed. Oh, I'm team. Delroy Chuck. Oh, him face looks so. Hey, Integrity Commission have them stress out.
Funny, honey.
Yo, Integrity
funny.
Commission have them stress right
Oh my God,
out.
that is funny.
Hey, me say, fire the most didn't think a cold breeze. You all of them a go down, you know. Me say, you all of them a go down. Delroy Chuck. Hey!
That there could be an election this year. Now, how do we know Parliament? How do we know that? But it would be so dramatic. And then, Chairman, the report, as normal, would come a day before Parliament started, or the weekend before. Everyone knew Parliament was going to start on the 17th of September, but it came on the 5th of September, 2 weeks before the 17th. Why did it come so early? Almost 2 weeks before, when we know Parliament was going to be the 17th. And this is almost a couple of weeks after Member Robinson is talking about this dramatic report that was coming to Parliament. How does he know that the report is coming to Parliament?
Me say in stress.
Yes, the question of there were two questions.
In stress
One about
right out.
The question of the report being sent to Parliament at a certain time. And what was the other question? Oh, the subject. Yes, in relation to the questions being asked of declarants. What I would like, Chairman, is for specific instances to be presented so that they can be dealt with. Specific instances, the name of the declarant and the questions asked, so that the Director of Information can deal with it. The second one, Chairman, you will recall that we were initially invited to attend a sitting here on the 11th of June, 11th of September.
Hear this now.
If members recall that, then they would not be thinking that we knew.
Helen Hadsell was able to win any competition she took part in. She was known as the contest queen because she had won.
That there was going to be no sitting of Parliament until the 17th. And the fact of the matter is that we send reports as soon as they have been received and completed process. We send the reports and they are usually timed to coincide with a sitting. And our understanding was that there was to be Parliament during that week of the 11th of September. And subsequent events, which we have no control over, resulted in the cancellation. That was the date for the nomination in wherever it was.
Chairman, respectfully, I have to give some guidance in that regard. And unfortunately, your account doesn't comport fully with my understanding of what transpired in the period. I recall that we wrote to you inviting the commissioners for a meeting on the 11th. That had nothing to do with the calendar activities or the plan for the meeting of Parliament. Absolutely nothing to do with the meeting of a committee of Parliament, and that has to do with the Oversight Committee. So we had no time intended for Parliament to convene before the 17th. In addition, there were some other issues in relation to the preparation of the room and dining.
We didn't know all that.
You wouldn't know that, but it is fair to say that the
But
assumption
what?
that because we asked you for a meeting on the 11th, right, which you indicated to us was not possible for the commissioners, but rather the first week of October, and we agreed to do the first week of October. So I regret that you had a misunderstanding in terms of that, but for clarity and
Yeah, but the man I explained to you why they give you the report as soon as they give you because of that meeting one did have. So the man answer a question clear. You just confirm what the man say.
And for accuracy, the two meetings never had anything to do with each other.
Yes.
The meeting suggested for the committee is a different thing altogether from the meeting of the House.
And in respect of a member of the committee or member of parliament saying that report is going to be tabled or something, I don't think it should be Commission's feet. The fact of the matter is that politicians, as you know, they say things, all sorts of things, they speculate, and we have no control over that.
Period. Period.
As Chair, we don't speculate.
Simple.
But we do take what is said very seriously.
I mean, a number of parliamentarians, knowing that I sit on the Oversight Committee,
I raise up in blood pressure. Watch out.
Especially Mr. Craig.
Why they drop down?
And you asked for specific examples. I can give you one right now.
And several of them have commended the commission. I can name them.
That's fine. But
Senator Morris.
no, but I'm not going to call names.
Morris.
No, I'm not going to call names. No, 1 second, Chairman Johnson. I'm not going to. But you have a situation now where a member elected in 2020 is asked a question. You bought a 2014 BMW. What is the source of your funds? What's the relevance of that? So we'll ask those questions. And I can.
What do you mean? What is the relevance? What do you mean? Oh, what kind of idiot this man? Yo, me I tell you, say, Father God, please forgive me, man. But yo, what am I talking about? What is the relevance of your question, sir? Because I waste man them time and I waste my time too.
Examples where a member elected in around 2020 again is asked, what did you do with the car you purchased in the 90s? What price did you get for it, and how did you dispose of the funds? What's the relevance of these questions?
Director Beresford.
Yeah, mystic sensation in the background because this man a big old buffoon. Yo, what them people? Who elect them, man? Who elect them for be representatives of everybody in a Jamaica in a government? How embarrassing! This go over to all over the world. All me area so is fronting. I try to defend for them people. That is a narrative I try to create, you know. Brother, it no matter when you have your asset or what asset you have, you better can declare it. You understand? If you ain't got paperwork, it ain't yours. That's like saying to a police officer, say, officer, you know, say me not have no papers because me buy the car in a 1994. Me not have no papers for it, you know. So me can just drive around without the papers them because me not have no paper because in 1994 me buy it and today 2024 January or October. What kind of big old
respond. In addition to the need for concrete examples, which I think would be helpful, I believe there are two recurring issues that have been the source of concern that require some understanding. What is the understanding of the IC's remit in relation to matters before the law came into effect? That is one. So the law has a start date, and how far back do you reach under the Act, which had a start date? And relates to inquiries into assets and liabilities before the declarant became a declarant. I said two, but there's also a third one, materiality and the principle of de minimis. And that is of particular importance against the cost, the administrative cost of pursuing something given its materiality. And I know materiality has to be looked at in context, but across numerous declarants, not limited to members of the political directorate, the recurring questions occur. What is the Commission's understanding of its remit in relation to matters before the law came into effect and in relation to matters before a declarant was a declarant, and materiality.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, members, for your questions. Now, I stand with the Chairman's comment that the specific instances need to be brought to me, and I'm saying this publicly now. The parliamentarians that you see where we're asking questions about source of funds prior to 2018 going back, they need to send that to us. Send that to me, and public officials also. And my email address is craig.beresford@integrity.gov.jm. 1 second, sir. The letter, they should send it to me if that is the case. And let me answer the specific question. The statutory declaration requires you to complete several sections about your property, motor vehicle, et al. Now, if it is the case that you still own the property or you still own the motor vehicle, you have to declare it, even if you purchased it in 1970. On the form, it also requires you to put the purchase price, and there's a reason for it. So if you submit a declaration without the purchase price, regardless of when you purchase the asset, it has to be disclosed. Your declaration is not complete. It is not complete. So the specific issue about source of funds prior, if that is the case, I want you to bring that to my attention, because we have made it clear in our division that if it is purchased outside of a certain period, that we would not ask further questions about it unless there is a special circumstance about that particular declaration that requires us to ask information going beyond special circumstance. And I will not go into the special circumstance because it only happens on certain occasions, specific occasions. But normal course of activities, once we see where you still own the asset or you still own the property, you have to provide complete information regardless of when you purchased it. And it's because the statutory declaration requires it.
Clarify the point. Insofar as a section of the declaration requires...
We just not tell Del Right Chuck to go sit down. Sorry about that. Me did it on mute. I hope that answers your question. Come on, the regular person that have a brain understands that. If you're going to declare your asset, it means you need to tell us how much you pay for this. And if you have papers. Period.
Declaration of the asset and the price of acquisition or disposal. I don't think that is the issue of stating, if one recalls, what the cost of acquisition was. It's the reaching back. So are you saying that your understanding of your remit is that beyond stating the cost of acquisition, you have the power to inquire into the source of funds to acquire that, even if the declarant were not a declarant? Definitely not. I'm happy to hear the answer. You need not say more. I'm just happy to hear that that is your answer, because if the answer were otherwise, something would be very wrong.
Thousands of woodworkers are now easily accessing instructions, drawings, blueprints.
I don't like how them don't want the man them answer the question and give explanation. Them just want to like create a narrative. Because them a liar and them know. Lord, the man talk. To know.
I just want to make this clear.
Yeah, man, make it clear, my boss. Make it clear, my boss.
Yes. Indeed. Yeah. Yes. So once you were a declarant, special circumstances, we may ask questions. But what we do specifically is that we look at each declaration. When you procure the asset, liability, if it's income to be declared, we ask for supporting documents once we're reviewing those statutory declarations, as a matter of course. Not happen. And that's why I'm at that specific instance, so I can treat with it. It's not supposed to happen.
Well, I think we really have had a very fulsome, discussion. And I just want to make the point.
And me alone about this man are nervous. You look nervous though.
That this is the spirit that we want to continue to have.
Him nervous, man. Him know say nah go well, but he might try to make it seem like, you know what I mean?
Very active and very strong discussions between the Parliament and the commission. There is really no need for us to be, and that's not the intention. There is no need for us to interpret, comments in the most negative and derogatory way. That's not the intention. The intention together to create the framework and the environment for the strongest and most powerful compliance possible.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Bartlett or Bartley or whatever you want to name. The JLP has destroyed the relationship with the Integrity Commission. They might not want to tell you, but let me tell you. They have destroyed the relationship with the Integrity Commission. Because you have one little rag dog, one pit bull that can't lock female out and say anything will come to your mind. And the Prime Minister seems like him is not of any leadership standard. He must put a muzzle upon the pit bull. And what the pit bull are going to do, he going to start some foolishness in the environment and the ecosystem of Jamaica. And that going to go on. You understand? Because it's like you're afraid of the pit bull. You feel me I deal with? Pit bull for resign, man.
To ensure that Jamaica's reputation and name is strengthened out there as a transparent destination where integrity reigns. I want to thank you, Chairman, and your team for coming. I want to thank members too. We have some small domestic matters to complete before we actually break. But we want to thank you. Who are the for happy hunting? Okay. We have to.
So is that it? All right, beautiful. Beautiful. Big up the Integrity Commission. Yes, yes. Big up the Integrity Commission. And Integrity Commission came and laid down the law and let it be understood. If it wasn't understood already, yeah, we do not answer to anybody but the judge, the law. You understand? Nobody don't push our buttons. You feel me? We are non-partisan. We don't take sides. And we don't business if you're the Prime Minister or you're the opposition. You are going to get checked if there's due investigation. Wherever it leads, we're going to go to it. Point blank period. And we're going to give the recommendations. And our final reports cannot be amended by no oversight committee. They don't have the authority to do it. I'm going to feel like say that's why them vex. I make them vex through them can't judge the Integrity Commission report. I stand with the Commission, the Integrity Commission's recommendation. Further deep investigation should be done in Andrew Owen's statutory declaration. Deep dive. Overseas, you name it. Because something ain't right.
Something not right, my wisdom warriors. Something is not right. Tell about them.
All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Them know why them take it the wrong way, man.
A corrupt government cannot liberate the people. If the head of the stream is corrupt, the entire river will be also.
And this whole entire Jamaica Lawless party, I one thing more Jamaican people them to do will get serious.
Take his microphone. Just a minute. Just a minute. Take his microphone. Usher him out.
Usher them out, man.
Usher him out.
Usher them out.
Usher him out.
Alright? Yeah, man. That we need for the ladies and gentlemen. You remember good.